And the Denver Broncos are the hottest team in the NFL. Can they keep their streak alive and make it 5 straight wins today with the Browns in town? Well, we sure hope so. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us as we count down the kickoff between the Broncos and Browns. I'm Alexis Perry. So happy to be joined by the Super Bowl 50 champion, Todd Davis, in the house. Looking fresh to death.
Well, thank you. I feel like everybody was wearing shades in the locker room and everybody was looking good. I want to put on my shades once in a while too, you know.
See, I feel like, can you take the single shot of Todd right now? These are Gucci shades. It's a Prada hat. I see it all.
She is putting me all on blast.
Jeans? Yeah.
It's just some Amiri jeans.
He looks fire. Like, this is ridiculous. I wish you would have texted me something and been like, hey, we're going hard today. Like, bring your glasses.
It's game day. It's game day fits.
I know, but I just went like with the basic sweater. I look like I might be going to church today. I might be like going to a nice business dinner. Like, who knows? Always looking good. Todd Davis, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was great. Had a good time. My family's in town. My mom cooked. My wife cooked. And it was bomb. Then I went over to my friend Noshan's house and we played some video games, played some spades. We had a good time.
Just your casual friend Noshan?
Just a casual friend.
I think we know him.
Just my good friend.
Would like to give a shout out to Todd's dad who's in the house, the original Todd Davis. Hello, sir. Thanks so much for being here. You guys, it's so cool. This whole family's so cool. If you guys haven't met them, come on down to the bar. Zena's not here. Is she hosting?
Coming through.
She's going to come through?
Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
Good. All right. Well, this matchup is going to be a really good game. Probably a really strong defensive outing today. Let's go ahead and lay some groundwork here. This is a big AFC West matchup for the Broncos. Critical if they want to keep, their playoff hopes alive. If they win here today and next week against Houston, their chances of making the playoffs going to be near 50%. If they lose today, that dips down into the teens. So, Todd, can you put into perspective just how big this one is?
This is huge. I think this is a team that is 7-3 right now, and they're not the best team in the league, but they're definitely going to win a couple more games throughout the season. So if it comes down to a tiebreaker, we want to win this head-to-head matchup. So first and foremost, we got to beat the Browns, and I think that keeps our playoff dreams alive and it also puts us in the race to really get to the top of the AFC. We're far away from it, but it puts us in a good position to continue to get better week in and week out. Hey,
if the Broncos win today and the Chiefs lose, they're just one game back. They could win the AFC West. Here's to hope, and that's all I have to say. The last time the Broncos and Browns faced each other while both teams were on a 3+ game win streak was the 1987 season. That was the 1987 AFC Championship game. We all know the Broncos. They went ahead and won that one. But this time around, it's really the defenses that are the stories for both clubs. So let's go ahead and start with the opposition. Cleveland, they're home to one of the best defenses in the league this season. When you're watching this group, what makes them so special? I have to say, Myles Garrett's probably a big part of that.
Yeah, Myles Garrett is hands down the biggest, key to their success. And then also their back end, Denzel Ward, and their secondary has been playing phenomenally. I mean, it sucks that he's not out there, today as a player, but it's very good for the Denver Broncos because they have the #1 opposing pass defense in the league. So
yep.
I think we definitely have another area that we can take advantage of right there. But they do a lot of things well. I mean, they're good in the run game, top 15. They're great in the pass game. They don't make a lot of mental mistakes, and they're hard to block one-on-one. So that's a recipe for a really good defense.
Yeah, like you just mentioned, the Pro Bowl cornerback Denzel Ward out today with a shoulder injury. So do you think they stick with their man-heavy scheme, or do you think you see them playing a little bit more zone?
No, I think they stick with the man-heavy scheme. They have too many good cornerbacks and DBs to try and shift the whole kind of game plan around one guy coming in. They just hope that this guy can cover man well enough to hold on just for Myles Garrett. And shout out to Shelby Harris, who's actually getting a revenge game against the Broncos.
Yes.
Hoping that their front end can get to the quarterback faster than the quarterback can get rid of the ball.
Do you think Sean Payton, though, takes a different approach for the offense this week with Ward out, or is it still going to be run first for this team?
I think it is going to be run first because I think that's the only area that they aren't the best at. They're 11th in run defense right now. I think that's the area where we really can be great in. If we dominate, stick to the run the entire game, we really can, impose our will on them in the run game. And then when we do take our shots, we just find where Denzel Ward was supposed to be, and he's no longer there. And I think that's where we decide to take our shots.
Okay, now over to the Denver defense. We all know how impressive they've been throughout this streak. Over the last 3 games, 12 takeaways, 3 last week against the Vikings. And it's safe to say without just one of those, the Broncos lose that game against the Vikings. So can you put into perspective just how impressive this turnover margin is right now? Because not only are the Broncos generating takeaways, they're also not turning the ball over.
It's huge. That's the number one statistics. If you want to win games in the NFL, you got to be able to hold on to the ball and you got to be able to take it away. So the Broncos are doing a great job of both right now. And truthfully, if we have one more turnover on offense or we don't have, another turnover on defense, I think we lose the last 2 games that we played. So it's important for us to get those turnovers and continue to generate more. The great thing I think about is they're not luck turnovers. Like these aren't just tip balls that are, popping up in the sky and, lucky plays for the defense. These guys are legitimately taking the ball away, getting their hands on the ball, and making big plays. So I see that this is a trend that can really continue.
Yeah, and it's really the difference between being 5-5 and 3-7, because if you think about it, I mean, the Broncos have won these last 2 games by a combined 3 points.
Yep.
There is no margin for error for this Denver Broncos team.
Not at all. Not at all. We need every takeaway. We need Russ to be stingy with the ball. He can be patient all game long and take over in the fourth quarter like he's been doing. I'm totally good with that.
I have a feeling this streak here for the Denver defense is going to continue because they're up against a rookie quarterback here today, getting his 3rd start, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I mean, I know we were all hoping for a Joe Flacco revenge game. We're not going to get it here today, but this is a big opportunity for this Denver defense to keep stacking those takeaways up.
For sure. I mean, rookie quarterbacks, especially someone that's had a few turnovers already this season, I feel like they're just itching to give you a few more. So hopefully we can get some pressure on him to get him a little antsy in the pocket, let him make some rookie mistakes and give us a few more turnovers.
Yeah. One area I think where the Denver defense has really, really struggled, though, has obviously been defending the run. This is something that has been really apparent. Like sometimes you can have a game where you kind of struggle defending the run, but you can't really tell. Like it has been the glaring weak spot for this Denver defense. Right now, worst in the league. Today they're facing the 4th best rushing attack in the Cleveland Browns, and they're doing all of that without Nick Chubb. How is this Cleveland offense having the kind of season that they're having on the ground without a guy like Chubb?
They're just built to run the ball. So I think no matter if it's Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt, they're going to be successful doing it because their O-line is much better run blockers than they are pass protectors. Now, thank God Nick Chubb is not playing because he is undoubtedly the best running back in the league right now. So we will have a tough day with him on the field. But the Broncos, man, we have a big task in front of us. I tried to look at the numbers and, we're last in rush defense right now. I'm like, oh, it's just a Miami game. Then I look back at the Vikings game and the Bills game. I'm like, okay, there's a problem here with stopping the run. It doesn't just add up to just the Dolphins game. So we have a big task in front of us, and I hope that we come with it today.
When you're looking at the film, what is it? Is it tackling? Are guys just not in the right position, taking bad angles? What's going on?
Hands down tackling. We're not a terrible team as far as scheme and being where we need to be. Guys just aren't making good tackles at the point of attack. We have guys tackled for 1 or 2 yard gains, but we miss those tackles sometimes. That turns into 15 to 16 yard games, and all of a sudden a team has 150 rushing yards at the end of the night because we missed 10 tackles. So number one key to this game is tackle. We got to be able to tackle the ball.
Okay, I think that this is going to be a defensive juggernaut. Like I said earlier in the week, I think it's going to be low scoring. I think these guys are going to be battling it out. But one guy who I do hope we will see in the end zone here today for the Broncos is Courtland Sutton. This guy, 6 straight games with a red zone tutty. He has 8 total this year. I mean, but something that is unique about the Browns, their opponents average the most possessions per game. However, they give up the fewest red zone drives, only 2 per game. So if that continues here today, we're only going to see the Broncos in the red zone maybe twice. So I have to say, how does this offense overcome that statistic. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, we just have to take advantage of the opportunities when we get them. I think it's important for us to find Courtland Sutton as soon as we get in the end zone, whether it's in the first quarter or the fourth quarter. I took Courtland Sutton first touchdown in the game on DraftKings for his plus 950.
Hey.
I took it because I don't know if it's going to come in the first quarter or the fourth quarter, but I feel like he's going to score the first touchdown of the game. He's been red hot in the red zone, and if he's lined up anywhere on the left side, throw the ball to Court, I think he'll come down with it.
Okay, nearly 13 possessions per game. Safe to say the Broncos absolutely have to take advantage of that this week.
For sure. We have to take advantage of it. 3 and outs aren't going to cut it. We have to be able to run the ball, take time off the clock, and then finish drives with touchdowns. I like Will Lutz. He's been playing really good for us, but he needs to kind of sit out this game and just kick some extra points. We need touchdowns.
We don't want to see Will Lutz so much.
Not so much. He's a good guy, but we want to see him a little bit less.
It's funny that you just mentioned 3 and outs, because don't get too frustrated when you see the Broncos have a lot of 3 and outs here today, because Cleveland, they're the best when it comes to opponent 3 and outs since that stat was started being tracked back in 2000. So they're really good at that. All I have to say is the Broncos, and the few possessions where they just make it into scoring position, they absolutely have to capitalize on those. But now let's get into a little game of tug of war, where we actually figure out who has the edge throughout this game, depending on the situation we're watching on the field. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. When the Broncos run the ball, who has the edge, Todd?
I really do think it's the Denver Broncos. When we stick to the run, we're really successful at it. Yes, they have a good rush defense, but I feel like we can be really dominant in the run game if we stick to it. Our O-line is built for it. Quinn Miners is looking like a beast out there. Cushenberry is grading out really highly in the run game. We have a 3-headed monster that can run inside, outside, toss, power, dive. It doesn't really matter what play you stick in front of us. I think we have the backs to do it. So I'm going to give the benefit to the Denver Broncos here in our rushing attack.
Okay. Browns. Did I start? Did I say when the Browns run? Where did I start?
I think you said Broncos.
When I say Broncos?
It's all good.
Can you swap those for us? You don't have to, in the text. We'll just leave it. So he said Broncos for when the Broncos run. Let me go back to, that's really nice. Thanks. Okay, he swapped them for me because I clearly didn't read the graphic. That's my bad. Okay, so now when the Browns run, it has to be the Browns. They have an advantage here.
Yeah, I don't want to have to say it, but Ford is a pretty good running back, and he's been playing well as they have Kareem Hunt. I think they're averaging 142 yards a game. Right now we're giving up about 160, which is last in the NFL. Cleveland Browns are built to run the ball. Whether it's Nick Chubb or whatever running back is in the game, I have to give the edge to them. They're dominant when it comes to the run game.
And it's safe to say that DTR, he's not quite comfortable yet within their offense. So the safe thing to do when you have a rookie quarterback, hand the ball off. You guys, they have guys that can pick up big yards. I think they're averaging nearly 5 yards per carry. That's what they were doing last week, at least against the Steelers. So that's pretty good. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to let me read the graphic this time. When the Browns pass the ball, Denver, obviously, right, has the advantage here?
Without a doubt. Okay. You talk about our back end, Justin Simmons. I know K-Jack is out for a couple weeks. But Pat Surtain, arguably the best cornerback in the NFL. Doesn't matter if he's going up against Amari Cooper. But I think it's the Denver Broncos. 1, because of our back end, and 2, because DTR, once again, is a rookie quarterback. I don't feel like he'll have success against the Denver Broncos. We should be playing a lot of a man this week ourselves, trying to stop the run, playing man-to-man. I think it'll be some good matchups, but overall, hands down, the Denver Broncos.
DTR, he averaged less than 4 yards per attempt last week. He also threw a pick. Averaging less than 4 yards per attempt. Do you even throw the ball at that point? Not even worth it.
3rd and 3.
Right. Exactly.
That's the only time you should probably throw the ball.
All right, when the Broncos pass the ball, really tough matchup this week. Russell Willson up against a very, very good secondary there for the Cleveland Browns. What do you think?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I think if Denzel Ward was playing, I'd definitely have to give it to the Cleveland Browns. They #1 pass defense, sometimes holding quarterbacks under 100 yards in the game, which is absolutely amazing. We have a really good passing game, especially in the red zone. But once again, I'm going to give it to the Cleveland Browns. They're just a dominant passing defense. If it was just the red zone, I would give it to the Denver Broncos,
Yeah.
Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. They'll find the end zone. But overall, I think the Cleveland Browns have a really good back end. It'd be a tough day for us.
Okay, the reason why I'm not doing game notes this week is because I'm dropping all these numbers throughout this entire show, but this one's worth mentioning. Cleveland allowing the fewest passing yards per game in a single season over the last 40 years. That is insane, with 143.7, and they're holding wide receivers to the third lowest rate. Going to be a tough game, I think, for Court and Jerry.
No matter what, I think those guys have been balling all season.
Yeah.
And there's like an art to, pass defense. And when you figure it out, man, I think you can really take advantage of the teams that you play, and it seems like they figured it out.
For sure. All right, special teams. The Broncos have Marvin Mims. I'm always going to give it to the Broncos when they have Marvin Mims on the field.
Yeah, Marvin Mims and Will Lutz. I mean, he has been 14 for 15 in the 4-game winning streak that we have. So I think the Broncos overall, our special teams is playing lights out right now. We need that to continue. Marvin Mims with starting field position for the Denver Broncos has really helped us score points. Even if it's 3 at a time, we'll take it because Marvin is playing really well.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, last but certainly not least, of course, this matters a ton. Coaching. Kevin Stefanski, he's in year 4 with the Browns. Sean Payton, year 1 with the Broncos, but we all know he's the wily old vet.
Yep.
A couple of offensive minds going head-to-head here today. Who do you like?
This is not – I feel like I'm going to be completely biased with this question. Like, these guys on the Broncos, like, these are my guys. Sean Payton, Vance Joseph, Joe Vitt, like, those are my guys. I don't know if there's a coaching staff out there that I feel like is better than them right now. And just the transformation they've made from, what was that, week 3 or 4 to right now, this is a completely different team.
Yeah.
They've changed a lot, and they are coaching their butts off. So, hands down, the Denver Broncos have a better coaching staff.
I believe that, too. I have to give a hat tip, though, to the Browns, given the fact that this group, they put together quite the little run now. I think they're winners of 5 of their last 6.
Yep.
And they're winning close games. They're winning tough games without being a very good team. I don't know how to say that nicely.
No, that's the truth.
But they're just not a very, especially on offense, they're just not a very good team.
Yeah, I think they're the worst team with the best record. Like, yeah.
Their defense, their defense, I don't want to even include in that conversation of them being bad. It's really their offense. They really struggled to get much of anything going, and I think they're going to struggle, especially here today, up against the Denver Broncos, who are just playing lights out on defense. Okay, time now for Area 51. Todd Davis has some highly classified information surrounding today's game between the Broncos and Browns. I can't say who'd you talk to. What'd you learn, I guess?
I've learned that, the defense feels like this is their game to win, and they have done a plethora of things to stop the run, whether it's different personnel, different formations, different schemes. You're going to see a lot of things from this Denver Broncos defense, and it's all going to be posed to stop the run. I'm not saying they're not afraid of DTR, but they're first and foremost going to stop Ford, Kareem Hunt, and this rushing game.
When you're talking to these guys in the locker room, just how confident are they, really?
They are pretty confident, especially right now. I think in earlier weeks, not as confident, but they've been playing really, really good football the last couple of weeks, and right now they feel like they can play with anybody. You beat the Bills, you beat the Chiefs. After that, I don't think there's anybody in the league that you should be afraid of.
Yeah.
And these guys are playing with no fear, and they're absolutely ready to go.
Meaningful football in late November.
Yep.
What more could Broncos country really, really want? Other than maybe to hear from James Palmer this week. He is out in Philadelphia covering that game against, Eagles and Bills? Eagles and Bills this week. That's a good one. Let's check in with James.
Guys, it's terrible here. I'm not going to lie. It's awful. There's my man Fletcher Cox working out right over there. Let me just tell you guys real quick what stands out to me about the Browns. I've talked to a bunch of guys there, had a long conversation with Joel Bitonio the other day. They're extremely talented guard on that offensive side of the football. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the way he competes is what stands out most to the Cleveland Browns. He's extremely smart. He's a tremendous athlete outside. They've had spies, the Broncos, on certain quarterbacks this season. I wouldn't be surprised if at times they felt later in the game they'd maybe have to spy DTR just because of his threat to use his legs, because the passing side of things may be something they're not fully concerned with, but you do have to account for the athlete that he is. And speaking of athletes, the other one is Myles Garrett. He's one of the biggest freaks in the NFL. Keep an eye on him moving up and down the defensive line. What they're going to do is Jim Schwartz is going to find the spot to expose a certain member
Oh, a certain member of the Broncos offensive line, I think is what James was about to say before he cut out.
Yeah.
I have to assume he was talking about Mike McGlinchey. Myles Garrett, Mike McGlinchey.
Yep.
That's a scary matchup. How does this Broncos offensive line go about containing a guy who has 13 sacks this season?
Double team him. It doesn't matter where he is on the offensive line or on the defensive line. You have to double team him. You have to account for him. The scary thing about him is he's going to line up anywhere. He's going to line up and try to get one-on-one matchup with Cushenberry or McGlinchey or Bowles or Quinn Miners. Like, you never know where he's going to be, so you have to just pose your offensive line to say, hey, no matter what, we're going to double team him and everybody else got to figure it out. But we can't let Myles Garrett beat us. If anybody else beats us, that's okay. But number one, you got to lock down Myles Garrett.
Safe to say he's in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation.
Oh, without a doubt. He's playing lights out. And anytime you get double teamed, triple teamed, and you still are finding ways to make plays that affect the outcome of the game, definitely have to be in the conversation.
Well, I know what's in the conversation for Sandwich of the Year, and that is our good friends over at Snarfs, because we all know that quality is their number one trait.
Yep.
That's all they care about, is the quality of the sandwiches that they're serving you, so much so that they are willing to substitute they are not willing to substitute ingredients. They'll just tell you to order something else if they'd have to substitute an ingredient for you. So they have their signature bread in white or wheat. That is their own recipe, soft inside and out. It is absolutely flawless. I should point out for all of you gluten-free folks out there, a really good gluten-free option there as well. Also some really good veggie options if you're not into meat. But all in all, everything that you can order from Snarfs is absolutely fantastic. A big shout out to them, obviously, for being out at the tailgate each and every game this season. Sometimes Lindsay Spano, she'll bring back a couple extra halves of the sandwiches, and I'll put those down easy. So be sure to download the Snarfs app for online ordering and delivery. You can also join Snarfs Rewards and receive a special welcome offer of $5 off an order of $10 or more. There are members only offers, birthday gifts, and referral points for you guys. So be sure to give them a try for yourself. Head over to Snarfs or go to a Broncos tailgate all season long at Empower Field at Mile High.
And you know what goes great with a Snarf sandwich? Breck Brew. And, you know, they're the official beer of the DNVR bar. We have lots of Broncos Country Pale Ale right there. And we love our Breck Brew here. You can use breckbrew.com to find their beer locator so you can find the Breck Brew near you, because it's something you got to have, whether it's game day, hanging out with your friends. Breck Brew, they're so easy to drink and they're so delicious. Let me tell you about a couple different flavors they have. They have the Avalanche Amber Ale, the Mile High City Ale, what I just mentioned, the Broncos Country, the Fun Slinger, and they also have this new hard seltzer. It's called the Good Company Hard Seltzer, which I heard is phenomenal. I'm ready to try a different beer for every touchdown the Broncos score, so I think the Broncos are going to dictate my evening. So hope they score a lot of points. Going to have a lot of Breck Brew. Once again, check them out, breckbrew.com for their beer locator.
See, I don't think you're going to be drinking
that
very
much.
Many.
Should I do field goals?
Maybe just points. Like I'm thinking per point. You might
That's
get
how
to
low
try.
the score is going to be?
Do you not think this is going to be a low-scoring game?
I absolutely do, but if we get to 14 points, I'm done. There's no post-game show. Like, it's over.
We'll have the other Todd Davis join me for post-game.
For sure,
then.
my dad can hop on.
He's here. I know. Hey, you might want to lock into this game, because there's a chance that you're making a guest appearance here later. That would be so fire. Look at him. Why are you shaking your head?
Because my dad, he is amazing, but if you put a mic in front of him, you guys will be, y'all here, you're not getting off tonight. The show is going 24 hours.
I would absolutely love that.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
We might, maybe just for a segment, I could tell if we're like, hey, get out of here, Mr. Davis, he'd be like, all right, I'm out. See? Yeah, he's good.
Golly.
I think this would be really fun.
Let me drink.
Let's go ahead and check in really quick with Zach Stevens. I know he has the latest on this matchup, some inactives, some guys who we might see out there. Zach, fill us in with the latest.
Don't look now, but the Broncos are primed to be in a playoff spot. A playoff spot. By the time today ends, the Texans and the Steelers are in a position to lose today in the 11 a.m. games. By the time the Broncos kick off today, two teams that are ahead of the Broncos for a playoff spot are in a position to lose. So you want the Texans to go down. go Jags. And then you want the Steelers to go down as well. And if those things happen, if the Broncos beat the Browns, the Broncos will at least be tied for a playoff spot by the end of today, which is crazy to say after the 1-5 start, but believe it. And Broncos get a big boost today. PJ Locke is active and will play. He's going to be your starting safety next to Justin Simmons, with Kareem Jackson suspended for the next 4 games. PJ Locke missed last week. He was questionable on if he was going to play today, but he is active, and that's huge for the Broncos because we know the type of baller that PJ Locke can be. He's a safety nut for the Broncos, a safety next to Justin Simmons, and without him, the Broncos are going to be playing 2 very inexperienced safeties with JL Skinner and DTY. Now the Broncos don't have to worry about that with PJ Locke active and playing, but what the Broncos need to focus on is the run game on both sides of the ball. On offense, the Broncos need to run the ball, which they've been so good at outside of last week when the Broncos only ran the ball 5 times in the first half. That cannot be the strategy going up against Myles Garrett and this Cleveland Browns defense. This Browns defense is the best passing defense in nearly 20 years. So not just best defense against the pass this year, nearly in the past 20 years. So Broncos need to rely on Russell Willson to be that excellent game manager. Call on him when they need it at the end of halves, at the end of the game. But outside of that, it needs to be Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine, Jaleel McLaughlin in the backfield. So that's what the Broncos need to do. Run the darn ball and don't give up there. And then on the opposite side of the ball, the Browns have one of the best run offenses in the NFL, starting a rookie with DTR at quarterback. The Broncos need to shut down the run game on defense and not let the backups that the Browns have at running back take off on them. Broncos have really struggled in run defense, and that needs to be their number 1 priority. Load the box, make a rookie quarterback beat you. And if that's the case, I like the Broncos odds here because DTR has not, the Browns rookie quarterback has not thrown a touchdown in the NFL yet, and he's thrown 4 interceptions, an interception in each game that he started. So Broncos should be a win for them, and they should be looking at a playoff spot by the end of the day. Things are getting crazy. And then along with the Broncos game, you want to be cheering for the Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Buffalo Bills, because that's just going to help the Broncos in their playoff picture as well. So what a day. It is beautiful out here in the Mile High City. Perfect football weather, a little bit of snow on the ground, but 40 degrees and sunny. Let's see the Broncos keep being the hottest team in the NFL and get their 5th straight win today. Get a winning record going into next week when they play the Texans. So Broncos have to focus on the Browns first. Let's see if they can get it done.
Thanks so much, Zach Stevens. Yeah, Broncos, this is a really, really big game for this group. The last time that they had a winning record, they were 6-5, 2021. Mm-hmm. They ended up finishing the season 7-10. But I feel like this group versus that 2021 group, especially with the upcoming schedule, they have a chance to have a much better finish to the season than that.
Yeah, I think so. They have all the momentum on their side. They found their identity as a football team, both offensively and defensively. So if they're able to get a win today, I think that really puts them in a good position to finish the year with a winning record and ultimately make the playoffs. So fingers crossed. I hope they get it done.
Yeah, I think even just a winning record for this team and for this fan base would be huge because, you can't expect when you're growing as a football team and making changes and trying to get back from being one of the worst teams in the league to being back in the conversation. You can't expect that switch to flip incredibly dramatically. They have to take little steps here and there, and I think that that's what they've been doing over the last 4 games, and it's so nice to be a Broncos fan right now.
Yeah, right now. Not for the last couple of years, but right now in this very moment, it does feel good. It does feel like we're building something that we can last long term. I know we got some guys, whether it's Russell Willson, Sean Payton, we have some guys that'll be here for a long time. So it's good that we're finally figuring out who we are and getting things clicking.
I just want to see Justin Simmons in the playoffs. Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be nice. It would be nice. Finally get to experience, that playoff vibe, that energy. I would love to see what kind of fit he has on because I know it's going to be something custom, something clean, but we'll see when it comes.
Speaking of fits, Let's see what the guys are wearing on their way in today. Big Week 12 game. Let's rate the fit.
Rate it up.
I know we might actually look at one from last week as well, because we're not going to see Kareem Jackson on the field today, which is heartbreaking. We're not even going to get into that because you don't even want to get me started on the way that the league is ruining Kareem Jackson's legacy right now. I'm not happy about it. But what I am happy about is this fit. This was dope.
Yeah, this is fresh. I think it's the Bottega Veneta top and bottoms, which is always fly. Yeah, I think he always puts it on. Looks good, feel good, play good. I think this is a fire fit.
This was last week's Louboutin boots. I'm always a fan of red bottoms. I'm going to give him the eyes because I don't think I have flames on mine. I don't think I have flames in my stack. Okay, hopefully now we can move on to a couple of things that we've seen this week. Yeah, here, Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy's looking good, man. I feel like, you know, whether it's the glasses or the jacket, the pants, fashion is important to him. And so he always puts it on. I think he's going to throw the shades on if they win today in the post-game interview, and that's just what he does.
Did you guys talk to each other a little bit before you guys got ready today? Because I feel like kind of like the light wash jeans, the shades. Is he wearing a hat too?
No.
Is there a hat there?
We didn't.
There was a hat? There's a beanie?
You're saying what? That we look alike?
That maybe you guys like maybe had a conversation this morning. We're like, hey, what are you wearing?
No, I mean, I didn't talk to my man Jerry, but they do say great minds think alike, so I don't know if that means anything, you know.
I think it looks cool.
Clap it up for Jerry
sweet.
Jeudy.
As always. Is there anybody on this team that doesn't tend to look good?
There's a couple people, but
usually linemen, right?
Now.
Usually linemen, they struggle. I don't even know why we look at Pat's. Like, I could literally just like blindfold. You could just tell me Pat Surtain's on the screen, and I'd be like, all right, where are the Flames?
Yeah, he's probably one of the freshest Broncos. He always puts together good fits. I like the jacket. The jeans are dope. He got on ice again. I think he looks fly, man.
He has a charity event coming up this week as well. On Tuesday, the Pat Surtain II Foundation. Good for him, Pat. Not only is he spending his money on a really nice wardrobe, he's also giving back to the community. Yeah, he's a really good dude. Obviously, you guys, I think it's safe to say he probably won't be on the show this Tuesday, given the fact that he has his event later that day. So if you guys don't see PS2 for PS Tuesday, that is why. You got two more for us? Yeah? Okay. Courtland Sutton. It's not a starter jacket with all NBA teams, but what is that?
No, I think it's a Louis Vuitton NBA collab. I may be wrong, but I think it's that. And he has a Louis Vuitton duffel as well. Louis Vuitton Don. Courtland, he looks good.
I think he's wearing his own hoodie, like his own brand hoodie, which is sick. So,
nice.
Court, I want to see you in the end zone so bad today, my guy. Come on, let's make it 8 straight. Damari Mathis, you said? Damn. Okay. This is colorful.
DeMar. Yeah, it's a little bright.
Is it too bright for November?
You got to go bright when you're facing the Browns. It's like it's like the opposite.
Okay, bright when you're facing the Browns. I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, I think I'm lost for words.
This is giving me
this is why I wanted to do this one. The other ones are like you kind of know what you're getting. With this one, it's like
it's giving me Pink Panther.
Yeah.
Skittle vibes.
This is giving me the Barbie movie a little bit.
To me, it's like LL Cool J meets the Barbie movie.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I'm just going to go because clearly my mind is blown. Is that what you did too?
Yeah. Mind is blown on that one.
Okay. We don't know what to say to you, Damari. I think it looks good. Like, it's just bright for November.
It's a little bright.
It's okay. Bright. I mean, I was thinking.
Gotta shine. Don't let anybody dim your shine, brother. Do you?
My mom always says that I need to wear brighter colors in this chair because I like blend into it. So like, I feel like Damari, if I could borrow that sweater, that would be great. That'd be perfect for the show. Okay, they're looking good. Got to play good now. The Broncos win this game if.
You know, I think the Broncos have a big opportunity to win this game. But I think it all comes on how much pressure we get on DTR. We talked about him being a rookie quarterback. We talked about him making rookie mistakes. But I really feel like his turnovers are tied to his pressure.
Yep.
You know, when they're able to sack DTR, specifically against the Steelers, he had 1 sack and he also had 1 pick.
Okay.
Against the Ravens, he gave up 4 sacks and had 3 interceptions. So I think they're tied. They're married together by how much pressure that you get on him is how many times he's going to give up the ball. So it's very important for us to get pressure on him so that those sacks lead to turnovers because nobody likes getting hit all day. So get some pressure on him.
Yeah, and that's something that we saw this Denver defense do a little bit last week against Josh Dobbs. It was crazy just how elusive Dobbs was, though.
He was. I don't know. I don't think DTR is that elusive. He's a good runner, though. He's a good runner as a quarterback. But if we can get to him and just affect him, I think that's going to give us opportunities to get the football.
I think the Broncos win this game, and I tend to use this as the Broncos win if often, but it's all about time of possession. This year, the Browns, they're averaging more than 7 minutes more in terms of possession per game, which is like insane, far more than any other team. So I think as long as the Broncos are sustaining drives, converting on third down, they can't go 2 for 12 on third down again.
No, not at all.
That is not going to cut it this week. They have to be converting there on third down, put themselves ahead of the sticks, make good decisions. And I think as long as Russell Wilson is just super efficient with the football like he has been, don't turn the ball over. I think the worst thing that we could see today is them trying to take advantage of Denzel Ward not being in the lineup and all of a sudden get pass happy. I don't want to see Russell Wilson get pass happy today. I want them to do exactly what they've done the past couple weeks.
Run the dang football.
Run the dang football. All right, Samaje Perine. Also, shout out to you, man. Just literally won the Broncos that game last week in the fourth quarter. Pretty stellar stuff.
Definitely.
Okay,
good.
The Browns win if.
The Browns win if they're able to run the ball well against the Denver Broncos. The Broncos, like I said, were last in the NFL, giving up 160 yards. Right now, the Browns are third in the NFL with 140 yards rushing a game. If they're able to lean on their running game and not have DTR have control of this football game and put the ball in Ford or Kareem Hunt's hand and they're able to get 5 yards a pop, it's going to be a long day. We're going to lose the time of possession. We're not going to be able to stop the run. And I think that's just going to be a tough day for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I think the Browns... I agree. I wanted to throw something different out there, but I completely agree with what you just said, Todd. Okay, a same game parlay on Bet365 right now that I wanted to get your opinion on. It's plus, at least it was plus 500 the last time I checked. I'm not sure, but if you take the money line for the Broncos, Sutton with 50-plus receiving yards and Javonte Williams with 50-plus rushing yards.
I think that's a good bet.
I think it's a good bet. Plus 500?
Yeah, for sure. Because the Broncos are definitely going to win. And in the last couple games, Javonte has had more than 50 yards. Maybe not last game.
Yep.
But I think that's not going to be hard for him to get because we have to lean on the running game this game. And then Courtland Sutton, that's just 3 catches. One's a touchdown, 2 other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can do that.
I like
easy.
that. Any other bets that you saw this week that you were interested in?
Just the one I took on Courtland, man. I think he's plus 950 to be the first touchdown scored of the game. I like those odds a lot, and I like the fact that there's probably going to be a lot of field goals in this game, but somehow, some way, Courtland Sutton always finds the end zone, and that's all that matters.
Okay, I have to get your opinion on the total today. Over under 37. I think you take the under on that all day.
Yeah, the under hit the last game that they played. I think it's just going to be a hard-fought defensive game. As a defender, I love to see it. It's not as entertaining for everybody out there, but it's fun to watch good defenses battle it out. And this one specifically, I think, will be a defense battle.
Final score prediction?
Oh, dang. Well, I forget what I said.
I thought you said was it 17-13 or something?
It was like 13-6. Was that it? Yeah, 13-6. Denver Broncos win.
13-6?
Yep.
Dang.
That's touchdown, 2 field goals, and then they get 2 field goals.
I like that.
Not too bad.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Also, take Broncos minus 1.5, according to Todd. Also, according to me, I think the Broncos win this game 13-10. And we have a very special guest that's going to be joining us for post-game to break it all down. Maybe even the other Todd Davis might join us, but that's not the guest who I'm talking about. You guys will not want to miss this post-game show. We really hope you guys enjoyed this game between the Broncos and Browns. Meet us right back here just after the game. We'll see you in a bit.
We all silly like the mayor.